So now I want to explain the concept of I want to explain how Ifa and Geomancy are interwoven, or how Ifa is derived or is taken out of Geomancy, and how you can further understand whatever an Ifa priest tell you using Geomancy. You understand? But let's say an Ifa priest told you something. Of course, if you meet an Ifa, a good Ifa priest, they will definitely tell you the truth about what you are. But there are sometimes that we have different people that when they tell you something, you'll still be doubting them. You understand? Or let's say you yourself, maybe God show you a kind of, maybe God should give you a kind of message, but you don't understand it. Probably you have interpreted it in a particular way that suits you. But you see, you are still looking for additional truth that will make you satisfied. Probably you now go out to go and meet another pastor. Maybe you are a Christian, you meet with a pastor, or if you are a Muslim, you meet with geomancers, and if or other geomancer or numerologist or the likes, or you, but probably you are the type that can go anywhere. Maybe you now go to an Ifa priest. Remember that you already have your own message. You already have the what you are looking for, something that will validate what you already know, or something that will give you a better view, a better understanding to what you already know. You understand? Right? So now you are moving from one place to another, moving from one place to another. So let's say now, I want to use Ifa as an example here. So let's say now go to an Ifa. I want to use Ifa as an example in order to demonstrate to you that we are all taking this message, divine guidance from a universal mind, from the same source. So I want to show you how. So let me continue what I was saying. So let's say the person, maybe you have your own message. Maybe so you now go to an Ifa priest. So maybe in the Ifa priest, they divine for you. So the divination they now define for you, they now give you one interpretation, tell you this is that this is what it means. But yet you are still not satisfied with the answer. So this is what you can do to validate that answer. And after that, if you still don't believe, if you are still going around again, it's as if you want to keep on ruminating around a cycle. Do you understand? So now let's say in the Ifa divination that they did, let's say this is what comes out in there, because if you want to do it, you have to know what comes out for you in their divination. Just like in Romley too, we have what we call Domiru. The total, whatever when you write something out on geometry chart, the totality of the whole something in the the summary is inside the Domiro. You understand? So when you ask, it is the Domiro they will give you. It's not the totality. It's not left for you if you know how to interpret the Domiro or not. It's you. So when you ask a good Ifa priest, it will tell. In fact, Ifa is not. It's not an hidden something. If you sit on there or something, you will see it. By the time they put it out like this, you will see it there. Do you understand? So, but it's better to ask them that what is this thing. Do you understand? Because some people have done. Don't let me go into detail because I want to tell you the reason why you ask, because let's say you know that this maybe an Ifa priest do Ifa like this, and now come out with figure. Let's say maybe you yourself you know the name of that figure. You don't need to assume that you know the name of that figure, because sometimes we have many expert Ifa people that they know that some people are coming to come and test them. Or some people are coming to come and just have discussion with them without necessarily doing something with them. You understand? So now let's say this is the figure you are seeing on their this thing. You know, in Eastern geomancy, this one is naturally called it's called Kobdu Da. Sorry, in Eastern geomancy, this one is called Kobdu Daila. But in Western geomancy, this one is called acquisition, isn't it? But now, because an Anifa person is an expert person, and he wants to show his level of expertise. So this thing, he knows in his mind that this thing he has written is not acquisition, is amishu, kobdu karaj, like this, something like this. He knows that this is what he has written in mind. Because you are the one facing me, he will explain to you that it is the way you face it. He has turned the other way around. Whereas this, what you are seeing is what he is seeing. This is what he wrote, and this is it. Understand? But he is not the way he has been taught. It is a reversibility. He might decide to use a reversibility principle to interpret the chart he want to interpret for you. He might decide that whatever all these things that I've told you, I'm using a reverse, but he will not tell you since you are not the interpreter. That is not your own concern. Your own is to listen to the message, isn't it? So you cannot say this is because this figure can turn, just like the table usually turn. The figure can turn as well. That's why you have to ask that Ifa priest that what is the name of that? Don't assume you know because you are not the one that cast it. We have different method of doing something. We can reverse, we can do on reverse, we can do so many things. Just because we want that thing to be more rich enough. There are some methods in that you have to reverse. So you don't have to. Yoruba people will say, don't pay. Don't let, since this is English, so you don't be too forward. That's what I wanted to say with that proverb. You don't be too forward. You understand? So you have to ask. So if you did not ask, you cannot assume. You cannot do this thing. You have to ask. You understand? You can still do it though. That is if that Ifa priest, the one that casted that child, is not using a reversibility principle. That means you can still use it. Either you ask him or not, you can still do it and do whatever I want to explain. And you can do it. But if that Ifa priest use a reversibility principle, if you do it, you are only deceiving yourself. So don't make that mistake. I first of all explain what I have not explained what I want to explain, but I have given you one of the shortcuts. Sorry, one of the shortcomings, one of the problems, disadvantage or problem that could attach to this thing you want to do. That is what I just explained now. And what is that? Let me remind you. Ask. Don't assume that you know that figure. Don't assume you know it. Ask so that it can be given to you. That is what Bible says. Say, ask and it shall be given to you. So ask, what is the name of that figure? And if you are a geomancer, if they ask you, it is not all the system figure you will tell the person. You can decide to tell the person the summary, which is Domiro. And geomancy use 4 mothers. But if I use 2 mothers, geomancy use 4 mothers. But the 4 mothers of geomancy can be turned to 1 as well. Likewise, the two figure in Ifa can be turned to 1 as well. You understand? Do you understand? But that is not where we are going. The why I'm explaining is that don't say you know it and you don't ask the farmer that. So after that, don't forget the essence of this thing is that the Ifa person has given you a message about that, but probably you are not sure. You still want to know more about that just because you know geomancy, you know how to do geomancy, you know it. Probably you are. In fact, let me even put it to let's say you are a geomancer yourself. Maybe you have interpreted, or you now went to an Ifa person. The person now interpreted something for you. Then you want additional information from that person. You want additional information on that thing. You can use geomancy to spread it out. Because, do you understand? Because Ifa too uses 4. It is Orunmila, the founder of Ifa, that turned Ifa to 2 figure. Ifa too was used 4. Is 4. Don't forget, minimum of 4. If Orunmila realized that geomancy, the figure is more than 4. So instead of him to, but he realized that the people before him too, I don't want to go into history. You understand? Because when you say that geomancy is 4 mother, it is based on your own level of understanding. If you say Ifatu is 2 mother, you are based on your level of understanding. So, but Kali, so that we will be able to explain what I want to, we can be able to proceed to explain what I want to explain. What I want to explain is this: how to expand. To expand the message you have gotten from an Ifa priest, how to expand it in order to have further information. That is one. Number 2 is that let's say you have a contradictory opinion in your mind, and you have gotten one from an Ifa priest, but you still don't sure, or you still don't like it, or you still don't find maybe it is still hidden. You have not getting it more clear, and you want it to get it more clear. That is what. Though that is what because sometimes let me give another reason why I said so. Sometimes an Ifa priest too giving an information, but he doesn't want to say something because he feel like maybe you are not mature enough to understand it, or it is not yet it is not yet time to tell you, or he was thinking that if he tell you, maybe it might lead to something else. That is so. This thing is also useful for that case whereby they have told you something, but you are not yet sure, or maybe that person did not tell you fully. That person did not tell you fully. Maybe he's hiding something. He still want to extract it out. So let's say now the case is not from an Ifa person. You understand? Let's say now. So now let's say they have told you the the figure you needed. So what you now do is this: take that figure, the two, you write it here. Look at it this way. Let's say the figure given you is this. Oturukpon, call it Oturukpon in Ifa, Oturukpon. And let's say it's usually two. Let's say it's an, what is this one? Is it or one? Is it a one? Yes, it's a one. So this is Owoni in Ifa. This is Owoni Oturukpon. This is Owoni. Sorry, this is not Owoni. This is Irosun, not Owoni. Irosun. This is Irosun. This is Oturukpon. This is Irosun. Owoni is the one that are 2 2 1 1. That is Fortuna Major. Fortuna Major. So this one is Irosun. So Irosun. That is the two figure you have gotten from Ifa. Don't forget that what is not. This is not to dispute what an Ifa person say. Is to get a further information about that message. Either because the Ifa person doesn't know more than what he knows, or because he knows but he felt that, well, you are not mature enough to hear this, you are not ripe enough to hear this, or he's doubting your understanding, that if I tell you this, will you be able to understand? Do you understand? So that is not as if to say that, well, the fat person doesn't know what he's saying. But sometimes it could be that, well, that person doesn't have much knowledge to answer that question. It's either ways. You understand? So now let's say you have, and you want to expand, you want to know what they don't want to tell you. You want to know what they don't want to show you. So, and probably you know geomancy. You can then follow this. Now, let's say this is the two figure, but don't forget, you have to ask them, what is that two? What is the figure that comes out? And once they tell you, then you can put. But if they don't tell you, that means they just don't want you to know it. So once they tell you and you know it, now this is now what you are doing. You will use this one to generate what the hate. Because in geomancy we have 4 mothers, and in geomancy we have 8 mothers. This is 8 mothers we want to. It is the 8th mother that bring about 16 mothers. You understand? So that's why I sometimes say in one of the blog that what geomancy is not geomancy figure. Geomancy is more than so geomancy. But don't let me go there for the case of this video. So this is the 2 mothers of Ifa. This is a 2 mother. You understand, ba? So this is 2 mother you have gotten. So now you will then use this one to create your own chart. And the way you will create this one is different from the way you normally create the 4 mother figures. Sorry, it's different from the way you normally create. We know when you get 4 mothers, there's a coider you will use to create the 8 houses in geomancy. When you have the 4 mothers, there's a method you will use to create the 8 houses in geomancy. You understand? But in this method, this is for 2 figures. This figure, then you want to generate 8 figure or 8 houses. So this one is different from the usual way. Now, this is what you will do. Once you first of all write it out. Don't assume that, let me just explain. This is the figure you have been given. You write it out first. What you will then do that, this one, you will clean it. You will turn it to 1. If it is 1, you will turn it to 2. If the last dot here, the last element, we call it layer, the last layer here, this is 2, 2, 1, 2. This place was initially 2, right? So if it is 2, you will turn it to 1. But if this place was initially 1, you will turn it to 2. But because this one was initially initially 2, so that's why I turn it to 1. That is the first step. You will first of all turn it. Don't assume that since you already know, you now write it direct. You will turn it. That's why this one is better done with sound, not pen and paper. But you can still do it with paper, except you don't mind if the paper is rough. But this one is usually done with sound, according to the way it is being explained. It's usually done with sound. It is 4 model that you can play with. That you can be. It is 4 model geometry that you can turn to geometry. You can turn to pen, paper, start doing all those dice or a thing. It is those one. You understand? One of the reasons why this one is even taken out of it is taken out of, how do I explain that? This one is not called. Let me use the word. It is not really called because people that have created geometry already know that the world will advance. But don't let me just go there, yeah. So That is one. Now, what I'm now explaining is this. You first of all turn this one. So what you then do is that, well, this is dot one, Abi. This is dot two, this is second layer. You write this one here without changing it to this one. This is two dots. You write the two dots here. Now, this is the one, another two dot. You write it to, you write it here. You understand? So this is now where you will do what you will now do next. Anything. Just know that, four layers make a figure, isn't it? This is the fourth layer. So you can write anything here. It doesn't mean you can write this place, fill it with anything. This place, this thing you did, they represent that thing we normally do here, that we normally do when we want to generate four models. You understand? So you are betting, you are creating a wall, but you want to get another layer. You have gotten a message from somebody or from the person that created this tool. So you want to step further. You want to get more clarification. That's what you are doing. You understand? So now, in this list, you put anything here to simplify that you don't know what you are doing. So next one, you then go you go to the next stage. Put anything here again. You can put anything you like. It doesn't mean anything. This part is what matters. This first part is what matters. So this list, you can decide to put anything you like. It doesn't mean anything. So after you have done this, you will then go back to the way you normally write the four models. You then do let me create what I'm trying to say. You want to create this figure here. So this is what you now do. This is 2, 1, 1, 1. This is what will be here. Now, here we have 2, 2, 1, 2. So we have 2, 2, 1, 2. You understand? And here we have 1, 1, 2, 2. Then right? 1, 1, 2, 2. If you cross check it, it will balance. Initially when you have four models, let's say this is our four model. When you want to create this place, this is what you will do. 2, 2, 1, 1. This is it here. And let's say this is what we have. This is 1, 2, 1, 1. This is not key here. This is 1, 1, 2, 2. This is it here. This is 1, 2, 2, 2. This is it here. So it means that, do you understand? So you have gotten. So you then create the remaining charts. You then generate the remaining chart. I want to believe you know how to generate the remaining chart just the way normally do. This one is using the two. This is where these two figures. This is what Orimila did. But it's beyond this. He knows better. Orimila knows better. You understand? But this is the source of war. You understand? This is the source of That is why if you create a geometry figure finish, let's say you cast a chart and you want to bring out the two figure you will have come across if you have gone to the far, these two places is the figure you meet here. Let's say, but don't let me digress so that we'll be able to understand what I'm trying to say. So now, this is what you will now do. You create the remaining. I don't want to create the remaining chart because I want to believe you should know how to do that, because this is not an ordinary. Because I said you are already a Geomancer. You should already know how to create a chart. You understand? So I don't want to disturb myself by creating the remaining this thing. So now, after you have created this, what I said is that you want to get more clarification on what you have already been told from an Ifa person or from the person who gave you two figures. So what you will then do is this. After creating your chart, you then look for the domiru of that chart. Sorry, not domiru, astagfirullah. Not domiru, astagfirullah. So you will then look for the sole figure. You look for what? Sole figure of that chart. It is where the sole figure land that will answer your question. It is where the sole figure land. After following this process, don't misquote me. It is where the sole figure land. That is where who can answer that question that you are not satisfied with. Maybe your dreams have told you a message you are not you still don't accept with it. Maybe you have gone to a pastor, they have told you the meaning of what you are looking for. You still don't. You have been walking around, blah 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 blah. You still don't stay. Go to an Ifa person. Ifa person will give you two figure. Come and do this thing. That person will tell you Do you understand? You have been walking around because that means, see, if you have a problem and you have been walking around this, don't they have put you into a cycle. You are just moving into a cycle, expecting only God to come and save you. You understand? So in order to save yourself, you can save yourself. Just go directly to Ifa. The reason why I'm saying you should go to an Ifa person is because it's through Ifa people that are using these symbols. If you can also go to maybe an Afa, you can also go to if Afa, if an Afa, if a clergy person, an Islam, an Afa person who is into geomancy, they will not give you four, they will not give you two figures. You need two figures to do this. So, and if you go to a clergy person, they are not into this, so they will not give you figures. They will tell you their message. You understand? So, but if you go to an Ifa person, they will give you two figures. Do you understand? The highest a person, a geomancer like an Afa, the highest they can give you is the Domiru. They will give you one figure, Domiru. Except somebody that want to give it to. So don't misquote it. You can also go to an Afa person. You can also go to a geomancer. That must be a very, very expert geomancer. The one who can bring the two figures. The two figures. That if you go to an Ifa person, the two figure that will appear before you, you can also bring it out. That was what I wanted to explain the other time. That I said that I shouldn't deviate. If you cast your geomancy finish, Ifa figures, that two figure that you go and make, if where you have gone to is Ifa, that two figure you can also bring it that in that 16 something. Do you understand? But that is not that discussion for today. The discussion today is that you have gone to their place, either to an Ifa person or to a geomancer. Geomancer can also, but it must be but it's better to go to, since it is much more better to go to an Ifa person to give you that two figure. If you want to get a figure from a geomancer, since for you to know that somebody's an expert, so I don't want to deviate. Or maybe at some other time, I will also show how to bring out the two figure that you don't need to go to an Ifa person to go to maybe some other time I will tell you how to bring that two figure you needed. That usually appear that if you have gone to them, what will appear there? Maybe at some other time I will explain that. But let's conclude this one. So now you now look for the soul figure. The soul figure. The soul figure. So once you have gotten the soul figure of that chart, I want to believe you know how to bring out the soul figure. So the soul figure of the chart. Once you have look at, so now look at from house 1 to house 16. There will be house 16 here. By the time you create the whole chart, so look for which of these places can we find the soul figure. So wherever it should land, that is the person you go and meet. Whatever that person tell you is the confirmer, is the final answer to what you're asking about. Now, let's say it land in house. This is house of siblings. You go and meet your siblings. Tell them that thing. The person will tell you the answer to what you are inquired about. If the person did not know, he will take it to the person that will tell you the final answer. You go to and meet your sibling. If it land in house 3, that means what? You go and meet your siblings, because this is house of siblings. So when you then get there, the person will then tell. If the person did not know, maybe the person don't know too, maybe he's not into it something, but he will tell you something that will give you a final answer to. You remember I told you that you yourself, before you start moving around, you already have an answer, but you are not sure. You understand? So it means that you too, you are not ordinary. It means that you too, you are not ordinary. Do you understand? So that person will give you, that person you meet is either the person will tell you the final answer, or he will tell you the ways to which you can get to that final answer. You understand? That is, I use house 3 as an example because I believe that you are a geomancer yourself. If you fall in house 2, house 3, house the rest, I want to believe you will know it. The same method I use is the same method you will use. Do you understand? So I want to believe that answer the question, and in this way, I've been able to demonstrate to you that there is continuity. Whatever you think you know, there's a continuity to it. Even if it is the formula that you use to, if you generate a 16 geometry chart, there's a continuity to it. Knowledge is not limited to Ifa. Ifa is not the ends of the whole knowledge of the whole world. Do you understand? Likewise, geomancy too is not the end of the whole knowledge. There's still something after it. So that's why I've shown you how to know what is after that chart you have, that Odu that you have casted for something. How do you know what is after it? Although if you are an expert, in fact, you will know what is after it. But that's why I explained to you that there are some people too that if I whatever, like what I'm saying, what that person want to tell you, that where that person, this one now refer you to. You understand? And if that person to that same person you left behind can also know it. In fact, at some point, if you meet that your sibling, as I told you, the person might start telling you what that if that person earlier told you, and you will not believe it because he didn't follow you there. That your sibling didn't follow you there. So won't you believe? Well, so that is one of the clues to know that, what you have done is right. That is one. Now, if you cast your chart finish, listen, let me conclude there. If you cast your 16 chart finish, one of the reasons, sorry, if you cast your 16 chart, 16 figure finish, you complete the table. In this case, you don't need to check if the chart has miss. You don't check miss here. In this case, you are not to check miss. It is miss. It is because you won't check miss here. That is why we collected this one. The reason why we say if this one is 2, change it to 1. If this one is 1, change it to 2. Do you understand? That is the reason. So when you cast this chart finish, this level is different from the normal geomancy. You understand? This pattern is different. Do you understand? So, and this one, you don't need to check miss on this particular one. On this particular, you don't need to check miss. You don't need the miss here. Do you understand? What you need is the soul instead of miss. Or let's say that one too is something like that. You understand? So what you need here rather is soul, not miss. Let me put it that way. What you need in this case is soul figure, not the maze figure. So once you find the soul figure, so you then look for the house it land to. Once you find the house it land to, you then go and meet the person the soul figure is referring to. The person will then tell you. So what the person is that so two things, the person can tell you directly or refer you to the person that will tell you. You understand? And how do you know? You will find out that whatever that person tells you, one of the people you have met, one of the people you are gonna meet, that person will tell you. So if that person now, maybe it is maybe you got your 2 figure from an Ifa person, it means that it could be maybe you got your figure from this thing from an Ifa person. You get your 2 this thing from Ifa person. Now, if what that person, this soul figure refers to, is not telling you the same thing that Ifa person has told you, it means that what the Ifa person knows is true, but doesn't want to tell you. But if what that person you went to meet tell you what another person other than that Ifa person told you, maybe before you even go to that Ifa person, maybe you have gone to meet one pastor. Maybe that person now went to go and meet this person. That person the soul figure refers to is now referring to clergy. It means that it is that clergy person. That clergy person you have earlier met is the one that is correct. That Ifa person is not correct. That Ifa person is not correct, not because he doesn't. I've told you one of the reasons. It could be that he doesn't want you to know the truth. That doesn't mean that he doesn't know. So it doesn't mean that maybe when now seeing next time, now seeing that he's not intelligent or doesn't know. You can rather see him as somebody that doesn't want to tell you the truth, not somebody that doesn't know what is. I mean, you understand? Because this one will the person the soul will refer you to is where you will go. Once you get there, down whatever that person tell you, it will tally with what you have heard before. So the one you have heard before, so this one, whatever this one is now saying, if you don't understand if this person, the soul figure refers to you, if you don't understand what that person is saying very well, that's the person you now go and meet. That person that says something closer to what he said, that person is now where you now go and settle with. You understand? This method again, but I'm not going to explain this one. I just want you to know this method they say can also be known. Maybe you are a Christian, you are thinking maybe you change to Muslim, or you are a Muslim, you are thinking to change to this. This method can also be, but there's a way that one will be done. It's different from this one. You need to first of all find, and one of the ways to do that one, you need to first of all find which of the geomancy figure represents the religion you are currently in. But that one is a discussion of another day. But I'm just telling you that this method can also be used for that. You understand? So I want to believe. This is clear. So thank you very much. May God bless you. So when you subscribe to the videos, it makes you to easily get update or notification that another post has been and has been posted. You understand? That is one of the essence of posting on, subscribing to the YouTube channel. But when you share, it gives me more encouragement to what to do more video. And if you don't share, that means you are saying I should not post again. So that one is not left for me. If I like, I will post. But I not like, you understand? So that will not be, well, it's me that, you understand? But if you share it, you are encouraging me to do more video. But if you not share, that doesn't mean that you are not encouraging me. That one is not depend on me. So, but encouraging me make it more better. You understand? So, and when you subscribe, telling you, but when you subscribe to the YouTube, it means that what you will be among the first set of people that will easily get information when we get to know about the videos. You understand? So do the tools, subscribe and share so that you will encourage me to so that is that. May God be with you. Thank you very much for listening.